Starting where I left off, the frame bag fits. The construction went not as well as planned, but we move on. A couple things that I have to consider as I move on with this project. I'm not sure the stack up that I used when building this bag is exactly what I'm gonna go with, so now I just have to play around with some different combinations. I need to test the grommets for the bolt-on feature. I also have to consider the design of the bag. What is it that I need to carry and how do I need it to function? So I'll be going over that design process and mocking up a couple of different ideas that I have. So without further ado, let's get into it. So to start with the grommets, the things that I picked up, these guys from Amazon, they're brass, so they're not gonna rust, but the shaft on them is pretty small and the width that actually comes out of the 1/4-inch hole, like the total diameter, is not that big. So that has me concerned, but I'm gonna test these out. And I also went to the Home Depot and I got these 3/8-inch grommets, and my hope is that the wider diameter on here works better for the fabric because it's gonna grab onto more. The caveat with this is I would need to use a washer because the bolt would just go right through the center hole if I don't use a washer. So I have each of the materials I used in the sample. So what I'm gonna do is just cut off pieces, see how the grommets interact with all of those pieces together. So the Amazon and the Home Depot kits just came with these really short bits. And when I'm trying to go through the plastic, I need more grip so I can really hit it. Luckily for my leather working days, I have a ton of punches, so I won't be using the ones that came with the kit. So I've got the initial one set. It has a little less bite than I would like, which has me concerned that this fabric can just pull out. Yeah, so the fabric just pulls right out. So now I'm gonna move to the 3/8-inch grommet and see how that does. This one has a much better bite on it, and I'm gonna see if I can pull this fabric out. It had a much better bite on the fabric. It took a lot more work for me to get the fabric off of it. Now what I need to do is check and see if the bolt on my bike will go through that hole, which I assume it will. And if so, then I will find a washer with a 1/4-inch inner diameter. So it definitely just goes right through. So now I'm gonna go see if I have a washer. So I think I found some washers that work. So this would be the internal stack up where you have the grommet, add washer, which covers that inner diameter perfectly, and then the bolt. The other question is, does that bolt actually go into the bike? So as you can see, it definitely fits. This is solid. So after further review, the 3/8-inch grommet is the way that I'm gonna go. I picked up this General brand. I'll link something on Amazon, of course. Also, if you guys use my Amazon links, it's affiliate. It just helps me keep this channel going, make a couple extra bucks here and there. So I appreciate it, but don't feel like you have to use those links. So when considering exactly what I'm gonna carry in the frame bag, there's not much that I have. The key things that I wanna carry on my bike at all times, bike lock. Sometimes I bring this cable. I've got these park tools, got a couple of these things that you take off your tire with and put the tire back on. I can't remember what they're called because I'm not an avid cyclist. Lights, which I probably wouldn't keep in the frame bag, but this is what was in the current bag that's on my bike. Some patches, and then I'll also be getting some tubes. The bike lock itself, I'm going to attach to the outside of the bag. I'm gonna carry it on this back face. And there's a company, I can't remember what it's called. Let me find the name of that. Hold It. So it's the Hold It U-Lock thing. I'm basically gonna mimic that, but it's not gonna go to my frame, it's gonna go to the bike bag. And as for the main pocket, I was talking to the guy at Hungry down in Australia, and he says he really likes putting a hydration port. And if you don't use a bladder, which you can run like a battery pack in there and have it going like a cable going up to your phone. I'm going to add it because it definitely doesn't hurt to add it. But yeah, it's only a benefit and it's not hard to do. And because I'll be doing that, I want a divider in here. So I'll have all my tools on this side of the bag. And then on the front side, I want the divider to create those separate spaces, but I also want the ability to remove the divider. And I think the easiest way to do that is a Velcro assembly where the divider will be able to flip up and out of the way if I don't need to use it. I also don't want this section to be just fast and loose. So on this back wall, I'm going to put some pockets with elastic. If I look at this, the layout will likely be the park tools, pocket ends here, center stitch, and below that for my patches and tire tools, I'll just put a pocket here where they can just kind of slide into. And then the tubes, I think those can just rest in the bottom. And then anytime I need to use this, I can just add that into the bag as well. It may or may not fit, but honestly, if it doesn't fit, I don't care. All right, so here we are back in Clo 3D, where I am going to make the updates to my current pattern. So first thing I'm going to do is add the fabric end tabs on the zipper. So we have a nice clean integration. So now that that is done, I am going to put the zipper cover. And this zipper cover is going to be folded along this center line here. Now that I've got that zipper cover done, I'm gonna go to the back side, and this is where I'm going to start implementing my internal pockets. I'm gonna go ahead and add a fabric here and apply it to the interior so I know what I'm working with. So here is where I'm gonna want to put my Velcro. I'm going to use 25 millimeters there. I'm going to hide these components so I can see inside of the bag on the face that I'm working with. And what I'll do is create a clone over, do some cutting. I'm going to add some lining fabric for the pockets. And there we've got what the internal pockets and that Velcro slot will be. Now I've got to figure out a way to get the Velcro on this front panel. So now I've got my Velcro done in those positions. And now I need the Velcro for the bottom gusset. So now we've got our perfectly aligned Velcro on the interior, front up to the zipper, on the base here, and then of course on the back panel. Now I have to figure out the actual internal piece of fabric that will be the divider. Be doing elastic binding on top of those. This will be top stitched in. So now I've really got to figure out this hydration port here. What I need is to extend this piece here. So what I'll do is offset the pattern outline here, and I want it to be mirrored, and I would like that to overlap by 10 mm. And there we go. We've got our hydration slot. So overall, not too shabby. You've seen the process now. All I have to do now is export this pattern and cut it up on my plotter cutter, cut the fabric, and do my build. So on my last video, I did my build. and I couldn't get the bag together, which is very, very rare for me. I generally nail it on the first go. Not to brag, it's just how it goes when you know how to pattern well. I had that issue with my plotter cutter. So what I'm gonna do is just step into the pattern, take my Mano and Machine tape. Go check out Mano and Machine on Instagram. He also has Procreate brushes, which I use quite often when I'm in Procreate. So the first thing I'm gonna do is step into Clo here, 489. And here we are at 499. So that's actually 1 cm. So that could be a make it or break it deal. The pattern is a little bit off, but not insane. It's probably something that I should have been able to sew. So my assumption is it was not as much the pattern and more having the foam go into these side panels. Like, I didn't trim the foam off of the front face. I actually sewed it into the seam. That was based off of a suggestion from somebody. I never like sewing foam into the seams. So what I'm gonna do on the final is actually trim out that foam on the seam allowance, within the seam allowance. That's gonna give me a lot sharper of a corner. Also should be far easier to line up. Because I have plastic here, here, and here, I don't think I need the rigidity on the side panels. I already have massive rigidity here, and the foam's already going to give rigidity. And the other thing is, because the foam is going into the seam, it makes this kind of a round bubbled situation, which I'm not a fan of. I want that shit to be tight. I want it to be like dialed in, locked, tight. And then the next video is going to be the final build in the test, and probably take it out on a ride to the grocery store, to the bar with friends. I'm not sure what exactly yet, but I'll definitely be taking it out, and I'll let you guys know how it rides.